I, cadet, promise to honor my God, my country, the Dominica Cadet Corps, and to do my best, to serve them loyally, and honorably, at all times, to be faithful, to my obligations, as a member of that corps, to the best of my ability, through the Dominica Cadet Corps, to which I now belong.
Along the shorelines of time, mankind has sought to leave his mark on the pages of history and give value and meaning to his existence. And so for the Dominica Cadet Corps, the year 2009 marked the first time in 99 years that this venerable institution was able to establish its own permanent headquarters, thanks to the support of the Dominica Social Investment Fund, DSIF, UNESCO, and the government of Dominica. And again, thanks to this project, the Dominica Cadet Corps was able to implement an impressive program of skills and personal development, which provides an ideal foundation for the development and evolution of the cadet program here. But notwithstanding the importance of these achievements, the year 2010 marks an even more impressive, memorable, and historic milestone, that of the 100th or diamond anniversary of the Dominica Cadet Corps. It should be noted that in the context where most groups and organizations on this island are challenged to exist beyond 10 years, a phenomenon referred to in some circles as the daunting decade, this 100-year-old history of the Dominica Cadet Corps is both exceptional and remarkable. But what is the Dominica Cadet Corps, and how did it arrive at this juncture?
As far as I'm concerned, these youth here, that's the best Dominica has to offer. The very, very best there is in the country, right here. And there are a number more to come. The other 500 cadets are just as well equipped.
Simply put, the Dominica Cadet Corps represents the best of our nation's youth, and is arguably one of the most versatile and effective institutions for molding young persons here into disciplined and productive members of society. But let us start at the very beginning.
The Dominica Cadet Corps started in 1910. Somewhere after the war, 1939 to 1945, we have a memorial stone at the DGS to remember the cadets who served in the Second World War, who were members of the Dominica Grammar School. In 1952, the first Cadet Corps Act was passed. In 1971, there was the establishment of the Dominica Cadet Corps as opposed to the Dominica Grammar School Cadet Corps, and that comprised DGS, SMA, and the youth camp. In 1979, we had Hurricane David, and that is significant because at the time when the Corps was functional, when Hurricane David struck, our HQ got looted and destroyed, so the Corps went to sleep for a very, very long time. In 1995, we had the first revival of the program, where our very own Ambrose George, who was a member of the DGS PTA at the time, was the chairman of the DGS PTA, and that was where the actual Corps began to revive after this long period of sleep. I say sleep. And I'm going to skip. In about 2000, in June 2000, we had the first 21-piece band given to us by one of our former cadets, Gabriel Christian. So the instruments you see are not remnants, but they belong to the group of instruments that was given to us by our very own Gabriel Christian. In June 4th, 2001, the Cadet Corps Act was passed, and on January 19th, 2001, His Excellency President V.L. Shaw gave assent to the Cadet Corps Act. So we came into full-fledged, not fly-by-night, because of our act. The second Central Cadet Committee was appointed in February 2001. On October 24, 2001, I was appointed Commandant, rank of Captain of the Dominica Cadet Corps. On November 3rd, 2001, we had the first time the Cadet Corps on parade at our Independence Day rally. In July 18, 2002, we attended the first Commandant's Conference. It was the 18th Commandant's Conference, and that was held in Trinidad, but that was the first time Dominica was attending as a member of the group. And that group included, just so you know, that we are not all alone in this operation. The other countries that were at that time at the conference included Dominica, Jamaica, St. Vincent, Montserrat, St. Lucia, Antigua, Trinidad. In 2003, we had the first official approval of a subvention from government of $45,000 to the program. On October 15th, 2003, we had the second Dominica Cadet Corps Central Committee appointed, and that was from 2003 to 2005. January 25th, 2004, we had the inaugural celebration of Cadet Day, and that was after the approval of the program in 2001. On January, we decided that we were going to have every year a day to commemorate the revival of the program. So we have chosen January 19th or anywhere close to that date to be Cadet Day. And since then we have gone around January 19th or January 25th, the closest Sunday to January 19th to be Cadet Day. On November 3rd, 2004, I was honored to receive the Meritorious Service Award for my involvement with the cadet program. And I'm wearing the medal, but it actually has to do with the entire program. So everybody is entitled to have a piece of the medal. In January 23rd, 2005, we had the first major combination of promotion of officers, and they included myself as moving from captain to major. We had Lieutenant David Andrew moving from lieutenant to captain. Father Franklin Coffey as our chaplain, Gabriel Christian as honorary captain, Second Lieutenant Lincoln Robinson to lieutenant, Lieutenant Dawson Robin was promoted, Second Lieutenant Dawson Robin promoted to lieutenant, and Second Lieutenant Joseph Raymond promoted to lieutenant. And then there were a number of other promotions as well. We were going to fast forward to 2009. We had police officer in his substantive role as police officer. Corporal Dawson Robin was seconded full-time to the program and to hold the rank of captain, first time ever in 99 years. On April 30th of this year, the Honorable Minister of Education approved the fourth Dominica Cadet Corps Central Committee. And it's important, I will just read the names of the persons who are charged with the responsibility for the policies that will govern the program from 2009 to 2011. January 1st, 2009 to December 31st, 2011. And the persons, the committee members will include Commandant as ex officio, the Adjutant, Captain David Andrew as ex officio, Superintendent Nicholas George, who is the nominee Police Commissioner, Ms. Shirma Blaise, nominee Attorney General, Mr. Benedict Charles, the nominee Secondary Schools Principals Association, Ms. Leandra Ledlow, nominee Secondary Schools Principals Association, Mrs. Lyris Benjamin, nominee Medical Profession, Mr. Malcolm Christian, nominee Chief Fire Officer, Mr. Thomas Holmes, nominee Chief Education Officer, Mr. Malcolm St. Rose, nominee Drug Prevention Unit, and Mr. Colbert Pinard, nominee Chief Youth Development Officer.
One of the most significant features which stand out in the long and storied history of the Dominica Cadet Corps is its invaluable contribution to the development of the human resource base in this country. It is held by some that most prominent persons over 50, especially of the male gender, were molded or impacted by the Dominica Cadet Corps. In this regard, the graduates' role of the Corps is a veritable who is who of Dominican society.
I'm aware that at one point in time there were about 20 or so members of parliament or senior persons in ministries who were cadets. Of course, our own Dr. Liverpool and our past president, Mr. Shaw, the two deceased prime ministers were cadets. So it's a proven product, and we just have to carry on from there.
I was a member of the band from the period 1973 through 76. I was a bugler, and I think I can still hold a tune. But more than that, the Cadet Corps gave to me a sense of love of country, a sense of service to people, so that we don't have to wait for position or prize money or fortune or a medallion to do what it is we have to do for blessed Nature Island.
But of course, having attained fourth form, you also had that great opportunity to be a cadet at the Dominica Grammar School. You had to reach fourth form before you could join the Cadet Corps. And on reaching fourth form, I took the opportunity to be a cadet at the Dominica Grammar School. And those days in my time were great days. And I'm sure as cadets in your time, you are experiencing also great days.
There has been so much focus on the negatives about youth. It is good to see so many of you here being part of this wonderful organization, the Cadet Corps, an organization of which I was part several years ago when I attended the Dominica Grammar School.
I too, in 1958-59, was a cadet, a packer sergeant in the Cadet Corps at the Dominica Grammar School. And before that, I was for 4 years as a scout. We had a scout troop at the grammar school. I was a member of the scout troop. And they insisted that I couldn't finish my primary and secondary education without being in the Cadet Corps. So I joined the Cadet Corps. And in quick time, in 2 years, I learned the drills and everything about the Cadet Corps. And I was promoted to sergeant. And I really can say that it left a certain amount of discipline and purpose in me.
And all of this leads to an obvious query.
There's a question ringing out there, Earl Johnson. What is a cadet?
Very interesting question, Lennox. Look around you in Dominica, look at your leadership. One of the first things that struck me when I arrived here was not only the enthusiasm of Francis and all the people involved in this initiative, but I was looking at a program, one of your government programs, and there was your Prime Minister, the Honorable Rosie Douglas. Something, whatever, sparked his nostalgia and admitting to the nation that he was a cadet and doing so proudly. Now I remember that. I remember those days because he served in the Corps with me at the time.
Okay.
And I make this point to indicate to you that if you look around Dominica and you speak to anyone who has made it in any position of leadership, and he will almost certainly tell you that he owes his present success, his discipline, his everything to the days he spent in the Cadet Corps. What makes this even more intriguing for us is the fact that in 1972, when we made the initiative that we were to go out and have people outside of the schools, outside the grammar school, which was the traditional school where the cadets were, we brought the ladies in. Then we have another factor of people to think about. Sitting here next to me, Claudia Roberts. Anybody who knows Claudia will know that she's one of the most efficient public servants that Dominica has ever known. And she'll say to you later on that she owes some of this to the discipline and what she picked up from the cadets. What's a cadet? A young person, a young man, a young woman who has been allowed to go through what one might term as a paramilitary program during the school days. All over the world, young people want opportunities to explore their talents, to explore their energies, to get excited, to do something, to be creative. There are not many programs to do that. Back in my time, there were things like the Boy Scouts, the Girl Guides, you name it, there were things around. Today, there's hardly much. And young people need to have an organized situation in which they can explore their personal energies. And the Cadet Corps is one of the most attractive programs to do that, because you see, some people, when they think of cadets, they think, and because it's a uniform, they think military, they think army. That's not what it is. In the wider world, there are sea cadets, there are naval cadets, there are Air Force cadets, there are normal civilian cadets, because this is like a breeding ground for the people who will subsequently serve in our nation's military or discipline organizations. And notice I say organizations, not forces. Here in Dominica, some of the most efficient leaders you have in your present police force owe their proving ground in the Cadet Corps. And the cadet is someone who has gone through that program. A disciplined and organized training under the supervision of adults, under the supervision of experienced people, guided, funneled, channeled so that they could become better citizens.
This view is reinforced by officers of the Dominica Cadet Corps, parents, and recruits alike.
The Cadet Corps is very, very important to the young people of Dominica, especially in this day and age when every time you turn on the radio, you turn on the TV, you're hearing negative vibes about youths growing up in Dominica. The Cadet Corps is a very positive organization where the cadets are taught not just the military training that we see. They are not just taught to prepare themselves for independence, but they are taught to be good citizens where they can assist in the development of our country. During the earthquake in Portsmouth, as less than an hour after the earthquake in Portsmouth, cadets were already in uniform reporting to the Portsmouth police station to find out how is it that they could help. Some of them, they stayed up till midnight doing security at the Indian River Bridge, controlling traffic at the Indian River Bridge, and security at the Portsmouth Hospital. During the carnival activities, they are used to assist the police in holding posts in the different at police headquarters in the different sections, also or at the marine base. During the course of this year, they were also taught by the forestry department to handle chainsaws. So during time of disaster in different areas in Dominica, any cadet of the cadets who took part in the training can just jump on a chainsaw and start dealing with road clearing. So it's not just the aspect of military.
I think they're very good. I can't imagine that these children can do such good performances. It's really good, the drills, oh boy. I think it's extremely good. I think the officers, the time they spend training the students is really worthwhile. Oh yes, for sure, because even apart from what they do today, it teaches them lots of other things like the flag, all the national symbols and etiquette, and there are many other things that they learn to do in the Cadet Corps.
I joined the Cadet Corps to gain discipline, and I find the Cadet Corps was a very good place for me because my grandmother used to encourage me to join the Cadet Force.
I have seen a great change in him. He behaved better and he acts more decent as a young man in the cadets. Yes, I would like to encourage other parents to encourage their children to be part of cadet and enroll in cadet so they can see a better future of their children of tomorrow.
Because, like it builds up your self-esteem and, it makes you feel like you have a purpose in life, man.
Well, the Cadet Corps has taught me a lot of discipline. How to wear my clothes properly, respect, and anger control, because they actually pick on you to see how far you can go. They push you to your limit. So it really teaches you how to control yourself and to keep what you have to say to yourself. Therefore, you're not getting into a lot of trouble and so on.
It's very exciting, especially when during that time you get to socialize with other people like from different countries and villages in Dominica. So it's pretty good, man. Yeah.
Yes, I think they should invest more into the cadet corps because the uniforms, we need more uniforms because as you can see if you look around, many of our recruits do not have the proper uniform and so on. So yeah, I think they should put more money into that.
Luckily for the Cadet Corps and Dominica generally, DSIF, the Dominica Social Investment Fund, was able to provide a significant amount of resources to respond to the needs of the cadet program.
The Dominica Social Investment Fund is pleased to be associated with the Dominica Cadet Corps and to support and sponsor the behavioral and skills development aimed at improved self-esteem and national development project. The fund is contributing $670,800, which represents 82% of the overall budget for this project. This project falls squarely within the mandate of the fund to create an environment to facilitate young people who are at risk of falling prey to societal ills and to ensure that they can face these challenges. Among the challenges faced by our youth today are unemployment, violence, drug and substance abuse, lack of positive purpose, among others. DSIF recognizes the establishment of the Dominica Cadet Corps as part of government's response to addressing these burning issues. The cadet program, with its aim of providing a progressive cadet training to foster self-discipline, self-reliance, initiative, loyalty to country, respect for others, spiritual development, and a sense of service to people, operates within the framework of the National Youth Policy enunciated by government. It provides young men and women with an opportunity to be empowered, to have a sense of belonging, and to participate fully in social and economic development of this our island.
But you see, in our country, we always find time to speak about the negative. And we fail to see the good things that are happening in this beautiful country called Dominica. And to pay attention to the several persons who continue to volunteer their time and energy to ensure that we can have a Dominica to boast of and to speak of. And today the Cadet Corps is here. And I want to recognize the contribution of Major or Commandant Richards, a man who stood fast and ensured that the Cadet Corps could be here, and he did so through his voluntary spirit and interest in Dominica's development. And of course, the several other volunteers who played their part in ensuring that we'll have the Cadet Corps today.
Thank you for this commendation, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt. However, the DSIF, UNESCO, and Government of Dominica Behavioral and Skills Development Program, coming as it did in the 99th year of the existence of the Dominica Cadet Corps, is both opportune and timely. The program will contribute immensely to the strengthening of the Cadet Corps and provide an adequate foundation and springboard for the future enhancement of the Dominica Cadet Corps.
First of all, let me tell you that there are many units around the country. We have a unit at the Pierre Charles Secondary School, one at the Portsmouth Secondary School, one at the Northeastern Comprehensive School, the Goodwill Secondary School, Wesley High School, there's the band itself, the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, and the Castle Bruce Secondary School. So we're indeed reaching children all over the country. The DSIF and UNESCO projects, of course, we had our difficulties with implementing since sourcing personnel to man the secretariat was a problem. We started effectively in April, and at this point we have a staff of 9. Some of the projects, such as the music component, started basically in February when the cadet band paid a visit to St. Lucia, an invitation from the St. Lucia Cadet Corps to St. Lucia's 30th anniversary of independence. And of course, they gave good representation. The music component is being done at the stadium, where children gather there every Saturday to learn the rudiments of basic music, level 1 music. The sewing project is being done at Morrow's Garment. The construction project, as you go by on High Street, you look to your left, is very visible, atop of the youth center, we are putting up what will be our cadet headquarters. Of course, there are 12 young persons engaged in this project. The disaster preparedness project, in effect, it is the everyday thing that cadets do. We start with regimentation, have them registered into the program, put them through the grueling and grinds, and get them regimented and disciplined, and teach them other things such as first aid, communication, aspects of disaster management. Health and family life education is indeed very important, since we want to make that wholesome person. And of course, this is one of the modules that they are engaged in. And so throughout this program, we have seen very, very good attendance, very, very good enthusiasm, the culinary arts in particular. The pictures look yummy. And so we have given the children interest areas, so they are not going to be, they are not bored with the core subjects of drill, drill, drill. And therefore, when they leave the cadet program, there are career paths that might have been triggered by what they're involved in now.
What we do is we train young people and we try to give them the type of information and the type of a wherewithal that will make them rounded citizens in Dominica. Okay, what we expect to get is rounded gentlemen, rounded cadets in terms of being able to get something doing for their own livelihoods. But the main goal, one of the main goals, is to get this building constructed.
As you'll notice on my back, there are a number of exciting cadets who found themselves wanting to add to the skills that they may have had already. And I'm very excited to be with them, to sort of train them or develop their sewing skills, that in the future it bring some kind of reward for them. And hopefully at the end of the program we may have a few of the cadets themselves that will be able to take the program further based on the training that they've received here.
As a cadet officer, I think it is very, very important for the children to have different skills. Because as we always say to them as cadet officer, it is not only drills. People tend to believe when we are about Dominica Cadet Corps, it's only drills, but it's not only drills. They're young people and we need to create certain things for them. Also, we have to also guide them and help them to go along with whichever decision that they make, if they choose the various skills that they would very like to do. It is very, very important that these young people can come out and do something for themselves. It could pose as a career for the future. From the course perspective, one of our basic issue that we have, for instance, we had the enrollment, and it was 150 recruits, which they are all privates here now. And it could help us in terms of getting these uniform built.
When you go to the class, you sense the feeling of excitement. They always keep asking me, so when we have in other classes, so is that the end of the program? Because they are excited about being part of the program because they believe that it is beneficial to them both now and in the long run, including some of their parents that have spoken to me about them since that they have been in the program, that they are a little bit more helpful in the kitchen, always eager to want to do stuff in the kitchen during mealtime.
Let me add also that the purpose of musketry training really is to give them a feel and an understanding of the safety of handling weapons, so that they don't get themselves in trouble or endangering other persons. And if they were to come upon a weapon, they know how to treat it. Treat it as being dangerous and treat it safely without anybody being injured. So it's a two-pronged type of thing: safety, how to handle a weapon, and also how to have fun, how to treat the weapon as a sports equipment really, so that we are giving them the opportunity to occupy themselves with something that is clean and fun. And all of the benefits out of it is that they're able to see career paths and the general discipline that they get out of it. Hopefully they'll be able to make wise choices. Their heads will be on their shoulders, probably more than the other person who has not had that type of environment to grow up in.
It is therefore noteworthy and appropriate that the Dominica contingent to the International Cadet Challenge Camp held in Barbados in 2009, the 99th year in the history of the local corps, was quite successful and in fact placed third in the overall competition. Lieutenant Lincoln Robinson explains.
I'm Lieutenant Lincoln Robinson, team manager for the Dominica contingent to Barbados for the ICCC, as we call it in short. It is the International Cadet Challenge Camp. That ran from the 27th of July to the 6th of August. The cadets were involved in numerous activities. Orienteering is one of the areas that was even most interesting. That's why the cadets were tested with the use of their map and compasses. They were supposed to find targets at particular areas. They were given like 3 hours to do that. The 3 hours, it was impossible to find all the targets, and that's what the challenge was all about. And so the most any one team that was estimated could have acquired would be 7 targets. And I must say that Dominica went over that and acquired 9 targets. So we did very well. And as a result of that, we got the first prize for that. And there were actually 10 main activities that the cadets were supposed to take part in. And out of the 10, we acquired 3 first places out of the 10, out of all the countries that were there. So public speaking, we got first place. Orienteering, we got first place in that. And we also got first place in the road relay. We were considered to be the fittest team. We actually broke the record in the road relay. And so we got the prize for that. In drills, we got second. And there are other activities like the obstacle, we got third and what have you. But all in all, I think the team was very motivated. Whether they were third or sometimes even fourth, that didn't dampen their spirit at all. They were very motivated. And overall, we came third because there was no second place because the UK and the Barbados contingent, they tied at first place.
And according to reports, the experience at the International Cadet Challenge Camp had a very positive impact on the Dominican and other participants, and further reinforced the importance of the Cadet Corps to its young officers.
Although the training was intense, it was hard, it was well worth it, because now I believe I am able to speak to you calmly, and I am able to run 400 meters, I'm able to do a lot of push-ups, I can communicate with other people well, I've made a lot of friends, we've all made a lot of friends. We learned a lot about other countries, about other corps and all of that. So generally it was a good experience. It built on my cadet life and also built on my individual life as a youth in the country. So I advise all the other cadets in the country to join the Cadet Corps, or if not the Cadet Corps, join some youth organization, because in these organizations there are opportunities which would work together for your benefit, for your total development. So take a chance and join some youth organization.
But I have to say that the persons out there, you need to join the Cadet Corps. Not just any youth organization, but you have to join the Cadet Corps. Because you can gain many opportunities from it. Traveling and build up your team spirit, your individual life, and all.
So what will be the future of the Dominica Cadet Corps? Whatever it is sure to be influenced by the hallowed ghosts of the past and fueled by the boundless enthusiasm and energy of our youth, who in the final analysis are the real custodians of the Corps' legacy. So as we lift our gazes to the future, yes, even to the next 100 years, it is good to reflect on the creed of the Dominica Cadet Corps.
Some may have forgotten it. Let us now remind the nation what that creed is and what it means. What is our creed? Duty, honor, country. Those 3 hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, and what you will be. They are your rallying points to build courage when courage seems fail, to regain faith when there seems to be little cause for faith, to cause hope when hope becomes forlorn. That is our creed. Duty, honor, country is not a slogan or a flamboyant phrase. It is a creed that will be our shield against those idle and cynical ones who will try to downgrade you and the nation, even to the extent of mockery and ridicule. Duty, honor, country is the creed that builds our basic character. They mold you for the future roles as the custodians of the nation's development.